Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Adobe XD Daily Creative Challenge. I'm your host, Jesse Showalter, and we are on Adobe Live with tons and tons of amazing content and streams all day long. We got people jumping in the live chat, so if you're watching this elsewhere, like on YouTube, come on over to Behance and engage with us in the chat, because Megan Miller is in the chat, Cornell is in the chat, Audra Campbell and Shell S, Sam Peterson moderating. Make sure you tell me where you're coming from and what your plans are for the weekend, or maybe not what your plans are for the weekend, but tell me what the next fun thing is you're going to design in Adobe XD. I want to hear about that. That would be really, really fun. Let's check out the schedule for the day. We've had a lot of amazing streams. We just got done with logo design with Sydney Machuda, who is super talented and was doing some plant stuff and really cool colors. And I just loved her streams for the last 2 days. It was really fun. And after me is going to be Draw Along with Kyle T. Webster, and then also a design off with Voodoo Val and Victor Davia. So stick around for that. Let's jump over to my screen so you can see what the Daily Creative Challenge is. It is 9 challenges. That's happening all this week and next week, Monday through Friday. So make sure you're here each and every day, Monday through Friday, and we're going to receive some challenges. Engage in the chat, watch the live show like you're doing right now, and then post your work so we can review it at the end of this stream or the stream tomorrow on Behance. That's the plan for the day. Why don't we kick over to my starting file? If you're looking for that starting file, you can find it in the info or the challenge tab up above, and you can also find it on that Behance /XD, or excuse me, /challenge/XD URL. If you just scroll down a little bit, you can get the getting started file. It's going to look a little bit different than mine. I am always running out of time. So I just went really quickly and picked some colors, picked some typography, and I created like a bottom navigation control, and because I didn't want to search for icons and make buttons and stuff on screen. We got better stuff to do. What is that stuff, you ask? Well, what we're going to be doing today is designing a mobile sales page for a product that lets users know when others, maybe their friends or people around the world, have purchased an item. Okay, so this is going to be a way just to encourage people to buy by saying, hey, your friend bought this too. Hey, they just bought this right now. We're going to use timed animations, component states, and definitely some stacks today to make this whole thing happen in Adobe XD. Let's get started. If you're not used to Adobe XD and you're going, what did he just say? Stacks and all this stuff. Don't worry, we're going to get there. So we have this really cool typography we're using over here. We have Sumana for the headlines, Poppins, and Poppins again for the subheadlines and for our body copy. I'm going to hit R for rectangle, and I'm going to draw out, you guessed it, a rectangle. I'm just going to fill it with a color right now so you can see it. But what I really want to do is I have this really cool product. This is where I actually got my colors from, is this mystery lotion bottle. So today we're making some mystery lotion. All right, I'm going to drag this in and just drop it right on top of my shape, and it fills the shape and masks it inside of there. What does that mean? That means we can do something really cool, like we can grab the image itself and we can manipulate the size of it, do all that sort of fun stuff, and it stays within the confines of the mask itself. I have this kind of cool idea. I'm going to make sure that by holding down Command or Control and then left bracket, I bring it behind the buttons that are there. And I just want to round the corner down here of these corners, okay? Not the top corners, just the bottom two. So I could grab, if we just zoom out, I could grab all of them and zoom in, excuse me, so we can see it. Grab all the corners, and it will put corner radius to each and every one. But I can also just hold down the Option button and just radiate or give a little radius to just one side. So let's do 14 on that one. And then we can also come in here into our inspector panel, and we can do it right there as well. So now we have these cool little kind of corner radiuses, and I think this image is really cool. It's like the product is on a table. So why don't we just mess with the mask a little bit, and we're able to actually make it look like, if we just play our cards right, it's almost like skeuomorphism. See how it kind of falls off the edge there? And then what we can do is take this shape and add a little bit of a shadow. Let's take our pink in the background there. Let's just do a little bit of more distance on the Y. Let's blur it out a little bit. And now it kind of looks like it's sitting on this shelf. Let's just bring the opacity of our shadow down. This is one of those rare times when I will keep my drop shadow of some kind above 10. I'm going to be all the way at 75% for my transparency. But look, it kind of looks like a little shelf just floating up there on the top. Sometimes you can do really complex things with just a few simple little solutions, which is pretty fun. Okay, Laura Staneva says she's liking the color palette. That's pretty cool. Audra's from Dallas, Texas, and won't be designing in XD specifically, but working on some Christmas presents. 'Tis the season for that, Audra. So you're doing good. All right, let's keep going. We have all this text up here, so why don't we bring this inside? And I'm going to hit Command or Control colon. Is that the right one? Something like that. Oh, we want to view and show all guides. There we go. Semicolon should be the thing, right? We actually want to create some smart guides. So we're 30 pixels on the left-hand side, 30 pixels on the right-hand side. You can see our buttons down below are matching up, our buttons on the top. But we want to make sure that our text actually matches up as well, and just lock it all into place there. Let's see, what do we want to put here? Something like lotion that makes you mysteriously soft. How about that? And then we actually, for both of these pieces of text, my headline and my subheadline, let's call this one mystery lotion, like that. They're actually both a certain type of text that we call auto width, and that means if I continue to type, it's going to expand the width of the text. But we don't want that for our body copy. We actually want that to be a new type of text designator in Adobe XD in one of the recent updates called auto height text. So that means I can kind of punch this down like that. Leaves you feeling smooth, awesome, and great. Okay. And what happens there with auto height is the more that I type, it's going to expand the box out, not left and right. It's not going to change the size of the text, but it's going to expand it from top to bottom like so. Okay, so we like this a lot. Why don't we put this down here? I'm digging this lockup. And why don't we just, you can see over in our document assets, we have our color palette and our character styles. We also have a few components, just our buttons that we've used there. It's nice to have everything as a component. If you're not really used to components, what that allows us to do is just drag out instances of them. And if I change the master component, it's going to change every single instance of that in my project, which is pretty cool stuff. I'm going to come in and grab the name, and I'm going to grab that sub-headline there. I'm going to group those together. I'm going to call that name in my layers panel. Okay, something like that. Then I think I need a price. I think I do. So I'm actually going to grab this. Let's just paste a new version. Command or Control C, Command and Control V to copy and paste. And how much should this lotion cost? I don't know, maybe something like $19.99 without the apostrophe in there. That'd be good. And let's go back to our assets panel, and let's just bump this up and make this a little bit bigger for our price. Okay, we want our price to kind of stand out. And maybe we can play with some weights here. We're using pop-ins for our sub-headlines. Why don't we go to semi-bold there? And I feel like we should create a quantity picker, and then let's do some component state work, shall we? So I'm just going to draw out a rectangle, and I want to fill it with like a really light gray color. Okay, I really like that color, so I'm going to add it to my palette up here in my document assets just by hitting that little plus button. I'm going to round the corners there, maybe about 6 or 8. And then I think I'll just take this price text that's there, and let's do a minus over here, and let's do a plus on the other side, and let's do a number in the middle like that. Now all of these are a little bit big, so why don't we just grab those and just chill them out, bring them out just down a little teeny tiny bit. I'm going to hit my distribution selector there. It's just going to horizontally distribute them, and then I'm going to line it up in the middle, what looks like the middle to me. I'm going to grab all of these elements on my canvas or in my layers panel, Command or Control G to group those together. I'm going to call this my picker, and then I'm going to create a component out of it. Okay, so I've created a component out of it. We have a default state. This is the master component that we've created. Let's create another state just like so, and let's call this 2. What are we going to do for this state? We're literally just going to change the number. Easy peasy like that. Okay, let's do another one. Let's call this 3, and let's just change that. Okay, really easy stuff. I'm going to hit escape, and that's going to lead me back out to the component and not in the internal kind of guts of the component, all the pieces that make it up. With the default state selected, I'm going to head up to my prototype tab, and I am going to select the plus, and I'm just going to tap the little arrow, and I'm going to say on tap. I just want to do a straight transition to number 2 and I don't want any sort of easing. It's just going to be a crisp bing, 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 just changing the number, okay? With that said, I hit escape, and I can head back out to the state, choose state number 2, and do the same thing, except this time we want to tap, same thing, transition, head back to the default state with no easing. And again, I think we want it to be instantaneous, so 0 seconds on that one. Let's do the same thing here. Not overlay, transition to 3 and 0 seconds, okay? With our state or component selected, let's choose state number 3, and let's just head back to the previous screen. So again, transition to state number 2, none, and everything should work. Now I think we probably had a little bit different of a timing here. So let's just make sure the timing's consistent. We just want it to be 0 seconds there. And now our component should work. We're gonna hit, make sure we're on our default state. We can bring up our prototype like this. And now you can see we can actually change the amount of lotions that we're adding to our cart. Pretty cool. Okay, so far, so good. Let's go back to our design tab and let's just move this over and actually balance it with our text because it's off balance right now. And you know what? I like these two together. So what I'm gonna do is group these two together. I'm gonna call this price and quantity, okay? So we have price and quantity, and we have the name right here, and we have our description all together. I tell you what, why don't we do this? Why don't we grab these 3 things, distribute them vertically, and I'm gonna put them together like this, Command or Control G. I'm gonna call this details, and I'm gonna hit stack, okay? So now we've created a vertical stack. We can switch it over to horizontal stack, but what that's done is Adobe XD now allows me to grab any element in my design and move it around like so, without really messing with like all the nitty gritty of the spacing. The spacing is there for me. I can also, if I want to, I can grab the spacing in between just like a repeat grid, and I can space those out. I can also hold down shift and space out everything at one time and give myself the consistency. So we're just gonna do about 20 pixels there. That's looking pretty good to me. I'm digging that. Now, what's really cool about stacks is you can do a stack inside of a stack. Did you know that? Did you know you could do a stack inside of a stack? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the price and quantity group there. Let's turn on a stack there. Adobe XD is really smart. It knows we want a horizontal stack. What does that mean for us? That means we can grab our quantity picker and put it there if we want instead, or put it back there, just like so. Really, really easy stuff. We could do the same thing here, but now we have everything stacked. It's a really reusable pattern for us. We're liking it a lot, okay? Okay, the next thing we want to do is let's design our alert, because now we're able to shop this page a little bit. It looks really cool. We got some skeuomorphism kind of happening there, and everything's stacked and nice. Let's try this. Why don't we create our alert? So I'm going to hit R for rectangle. I'm going to draw out a rectangle just like so. And I'm going to fill it with my brand color, that green brand color, okay? I kind of want to I'm going to put this right in the middle of the buttons, and I want to stretch it out so that it's like perfectly sized on all sides of the buttons. Why? Just because I have a little bit of like OCD about stuff like that. I like this size. This size worked for me. Also on a UX kind of like pattern, we want to cover up all the controls for a second so that the user really sees this, and we'll give them a way to get out of this alert, but we want them to see it and not ignore it. So we want to make it nice and chunky. Okay, everything's looking pretty good. Let's do this. Let's hit E for ellipse and draw a little ellipse for an avatar. Doesn't need to be that big, I don't think. Let's zoom in a little bit, shall we, so we can see what we're working on. Let's bring it down a little bit, put it on our border, those smart guides, so nice, keeping our design nice and crisp. I'm gonna head over to my plugins, and I happen to be on UI faces, which is exactly what I want. I want to put a little avatar inside of this design. So let's just grab a person like this. All right, and I tell you what, why don't we stylize it a little bit by just putting a white border around it? That's looking pretty cool. And let's get some text in here, shall we? I'm just gonna hit T for text, and whoa, what happened there? Should be able to, oh, it's green, that's why. Okay, well, that's funny. We wanna put something like, your friend Julie bought this just now. I probably spelled that super wrong. Did I spell everything super wrong? No, I didn't. Okay, let's come back to our assets here, and let's find a size or a style that works for us. We're gonna do that one, and why don't we make it white so it stands out? We gotta have that good contrast, right? Let's do another little thing just to make this stand out, because if this is like social proof, this is what this whole thing's about, right? We're proving socially that that you should buy this. You should want to buy this. Why? Because your friend Julie bought it, so you would love it too. Let's do this. Let's take L for line and just draw a line out. I love little kind of accent pieces like this. So why don't we grab that color and let's make our little line just a little bit bigger like that and drop it behind our text. Cool, just a fun little accent piece like that. And let's grab all of these elements, boom, like this, and group them together with a Command G. Now we have our alert, and I think we probably do, we don't want it to be like a dark pattern where people can't get out of this. So why don't we really quickly make an X to close, just in case somebody's like really frustrated about this, okay? Command C, Command V, or Control, depending on your operating system. How many of you out there are PC users, and how many are Mac users? I actually use both, and I use Adobe XD for both. So I'd love to know, I don't know, what do you love about it? This is not a war. Don't be a fanboy out there and tell me that one of them is better than the other. I think use whatever works for you. That's my recommendation. And I think Adobe XD works great on both platforms. So that's what I say to that. All right, so I'm gonna make my little X. Let's make this our X to close like that. And now we have our drop down. Now we could also just really quickly add a little bit of a blur down there. Let's add a green blur and just bring the transparency down and actually make it like a dark green. We just want it to just radiate out a little bit of dimensionality, right? And let's bring a transparency of this guy down below like 15. That works all right for me. Okay, now what we're gonna do is gonna take our alert, fun little alert, right? I like it a lot. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna Command or Control K and create a component out of this. Now we're gonna create a couple more states, right? So let's do this. We have a new state. Let's call this, I don't know, Jennifer. What's gonna be the deal with Jennifer? Well, the deal with Jennifer is she's a different person. So let's select a new avatar for Jennifer. If this thing will load, very cool. Okay, let's find Jennifer. Here we go. You could be Jennifer. And we'll change the name. Jennifer, like that. And we're gonna have to go back to our layers panel and just stretch this line out a little bit. I'm doing that by holding down the Command or the Alt button, depending on your operating system, and just using the left and right arrows. And you can also hold Shift down and nudge it by 10 if you want as well. Okay, so we're just gonna bring that message in and over a little bit. Doesn't need to be that big. Okay, so that one's pretty cool. Let's do another one. How about who else is in the chat? Tia is in the chat. Tia, this is gonna be you. Okay, so we're gonna grab the avatar. I don't know if this is actually you, Tia. This probably won't be you unless you have your avatar inside of UI Faces. But thanks for being in the chat today and hanging out. So let's pick a person just like that. And here we go. Tia is in the house. And again, we're just holding down Shift and nudging that back. Pretty cool. So now we have one alert that has 3 different states. Beautiful, just like that. And what we want to do is now some time transitions to finish this thing up and just kind of alert constantly, showing that that we have people who are purchasing or are buying this thing that you know. So why don't we do this? This is social proof. Okay, social proof, and this can be alert 1. We're gonna do this not with like really complex nested components with component states. We're just gonna do artboard. So I'm gonna open this back up. I deleted it off my artboard. I'm just gonna pop it back in like that. So why don't we take both of these, this artboard and this artboard, drag them over and just do a nice line of animation. Easy, okay? So now what do? We are gonna select social proof. And you know what? Yep. I think this needs to be, aha, I know what else is wrong here. Okay. We want to put this up, and I'll tell you what we're going to do. We are going to, let's leave a little bit of a green line at the top. Usually I would bring this up like right at the top, and then I would take the opacity down, but this is kind of cool the way it is, don't you think? So it's up there with a green line. And we could take our shadow off like that, and then it comes down, okay? Cool, and then it comes down with the shadow. Same thing, we're gonna do another one up here, except we're gonna make this Jennifer, and then we're gonna make this one Jennifer. And we're going to do one more. This one's going to be state number 3, which is Tia. This is also going to be state number 3, which is Tia. Now we're going to do our timed triggers and transitions. So we just select the entire artboard, not an individual piece. Make sure we're on our prototype tab. And we have selected here, we're going to drag this right over to the next artboard. We're going to say timed transition. We want to delay. Let's do about 3 seconds for the first one. Auto animate over to alert 1. Easing. Sure, let's do ease in out. And the duration of this should be about 0.5 seconds, okay? Now that has happened, let's drag this over. Oh, not the whole thing. We want to select the artboard. Boom, just like that. Again, we want to wait about 3 seconds and we want to ease over. It's saving all of our options for our animation and our timed kind of prototyping that's happening. So now all we have to do is go from one to the other. Let's back out really quickly and let's go from this one whoop, all the way to this one. Okay, now let's try our prototype. We should be able to bring it up and you can see it takes a little bit and our little animation comes down saying your friend Julie just bought this now. And in a few seconds another one should come down. Whoop, your friend Jennifer bought this just now. Pretty cool. Okay, and we have one more that should come right now. Your friend Tia bought this just now. Perfect. Now we're seeing a little bit of switching and that's fine. What we could do is just manipulate the states a little bit better so that it's up here that way, boom, and when it's up here it's still the default state and it should switch on its way down. Let's try that really quickly. So we should start with Julie. Okay, Julie comes down, it should go up and still be Julie. It heads up, it's still Julie. When it comes down this time it should be Jennifer. Whoop, no problem. When it goes up it'll flicker. Okay, because we got to fix that one as well. So when we head up, we want to make sure that this is Jennifer and everything should be right as rain. All right, that's perfect. That's everything we hope to accomplish. A nice timed transition, some social proof. So while people are shopping for this mysterious lotion of theirs, they can see that their friends are buying it too. Maybe that'll encourage them. And this would be a great thing to share on Discord or Behance. And in the real world scenario, use the share tab and share this to your stakeholders or your design managers or whoever. But that's the challenge for today. Why don't we look at some of yesterday's challenges over here in Discord before we get going. We have this one. Remember yesterday we did our video chat. I made a llama chat app so we could drag and add stickers and have a fun little animation. This one's from Radix77. He also did a little app, except he expanded the menu out with some horizontal scroll. And when you select a llama, you get a fun llama animation. That one's super cool. There's some really, really fun ones in here. This one is by Alexa. Like that crisp little motion, kicking everything over. She drags the llama onto the screen and boom, we get a fun little animation. There was another one down here I wanted to hone in on, which was really, really cool. I like this one. This one is from Angelo Vaz, and he also did our, yeah, like a little bottom anchored. Look at the fun little three-dimensional thumbs up hand. But I like that. Let's replay that one more time. That was really cool. You hit it, it expands the drawer up, and then you could select and drag it up to the person, and it just stickers it right there. That could be really cool. You don't need all that fancy animation if you don't want it. This one's by Annie, and let's take a look at this one. Nice, fun drawer pull, X to close, really cool stuff. Add that llama right on the face, which is really cool. And these actually, there was a little motion in between the llamas as they came down. You could definitely spend some time rotating each of them. That could be really cool. There was one that I really wanted to show. This is from our first challenge, our movie timeline challenge. This is from who is it from again? Julie Bradford. Julie Bradford, you crushed this one. I wanted to highlight it. Really, really cool. Check this out. Harry Potter. A lot of cool parallax looking animation stuff. You can do that just by simply moving stuff. And we had this cool kind of usage of the timeline for all of the Harry Potter films. Scroll in, scroll out. Super fun. Lots of work put into that one. And this one is by Islam, and this is a video chat app featuring some cool emojis and stuff. Really, really nice. Cute little animation, fun, simple, easy, really well done. Great work, everybody. I hope you guys have had fun. Stick around. Like I said, we have a lot more great content coming, drawing along with Kyle T. Webster and Design Off with Voodoo Val and Victor Davia. Thank you for everybody for being in the chat. Keep going on those projects. Keep going on those challenges. Post them in Discord. Use the hashtag XD Creative Challenge. We would love to see your stuff on Behance as well. Maybe I'll find some tomorrow on Behance. But besides that, I hope you guys are designing amazing stuff and making amazing stuff. We'll see you right back here for tomorrow's XD Daily Creative Challenge. See you later.